What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We got Tim in Green Bay here to talk about Packers training camp practice number 12. We're going to give you all of the updates. We'll run through the injury list. Had a couple things pop up. A couple people return to practice. We'll also give you Jordan Love's numbers on the day and kind of, or at least a breakdown of what he did today. Matthew Golden continues to shine. We'll talk about him and everything else in between as we get ready for the Packers' first preseason game come Saturday night. But before we do, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for us. Hit like, hit subscribe. If you're new here, if this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. We appreciate you making us a part of your evening. If you're looking for daily Packers content, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click the bell icon so you get notified every time we do go live. We're live pretty much on a daily basis. We'll be doing pregame shows, postgame shows, in-depth analysis, film breakdown, the whole 9 yards. So if you're looking for that type of content, like I said, make sure you subscribe. We appreciate y'all making us a part of your wonderful Thursday evening here on this glorious August the 7th. Gents, we got football on as we speak. I've seen the chat light up. Sounds like Anthony Richardson just went down, maybe a potential arm injury. Also, earlier today, I think it came down to Pike today. You guys remember Rashawn Slater, who just signed that huge deal, offensive tackle for the Chargers, I believe it is. He's done for the year, sounds like. So, man, I know you look at our injury list sometimes and you think, boy, this sucks. I think we're in really, really good position right now in terms of injuries and injury status compared to some. But anything you guys want to add to that before we dive into the practice here?
Yeah, pads are popping, right? Guys are going to get hurt. It's that time of year. And I'm with you, Clayton. I'll take where we're at right now. You know, we've got guys banged up. We got guys rehabbing and coming back just as much as anyone else, but not as much as other teams. There's other teams that are losing some pretty critical pieces. I think we've been relatively unscathed thus far. So crossed for Saturday's game. Let's go.
Yeah, I rarely disagree with Tim, but you know, because Emilio's not here, his little naked body may have been flashing on the screen if we hadn't been careful. But we lost Travis Glover, Tim, and the way that you did put no respect on his name, I'm gonna fight for my man Emilio while he's not here, while he's in his bathtub with his rubber ducky and washing himself with a rag on a stick. That's what's happening. And yes, I am wearing a do-rag today, so it's for Gangster Goot. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, Tim.
Perfect comment. All right. Tim, you got anything else, man? We good.
How the hell do I follow that? How am I supposed to?
Hey, it's saying I don't know how I was going to start the show when I logged in and I seen Emilio 6 inches from the freaking camera with no shirt on. I was like, what in the world am I even looking at here? I'll be back. I got a shower. I'll be back. All right, man.
And then he came back to make fun of me.
He did. That is a true story. He really did. So, Boz with the huge super chat. Appreciate you, Boz. Good to see you in here, buddy. He says, let's have us a season, y'all. Man, I'm so excited, man. We've been hovering around the 70 mark, 75 all week long. You wake up in the morning, it's a little bit chilly in the mornings. You have to throw a hoodie on. We made it, gents. It's football season. Boz, thank you so much, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well out there. Let's dive into it. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's hit it. All right. Practice number 12. This was a little bit shorter one, it sounded like. Tim, I know you were out there earlier today. I'm going to lead off every training camp practice breakdown where you were there, boots on the ground. With you have the floor, sir. Anything stick out to you? What was the weather like? How did the energy feel? Am I wrong in saying it was a little bit shorter practice today?
No, that's 100% correct. It was very short practice today. Started a little later than 10:30, and I believe it was over with right around noon. I mean, maybe a little more than an hour, but of course, I mean, they beat the hell out of these guys yesterday. Let's not forget. So I think it makes sense to kind of give them a little lighter load today, but the intensity level was still there. I mean, these guys are breathing fire. They're a focused football team. Something's different, like we talked about this year at camp. So vibe is still where we want it, guys. Lot to feel good about right now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into it, boys. So first things first, let's hit the injury report. Wes Hodkiewicz put out a tweet. Packers public training camp practice number 12. Carl Brooks and Warren Brinson are practicing. We talked about that yesterday, that obviously they were, I think Brinson left practice. I think Carl Brooks didn't even start practice, right? So they were back today. That seems to be all behind us there. New injuries, however, Xavier McKinney with the calf, center Elton Jenkins is back. Must have acted up a little bit again. And then wide receiver Jaden Reed. You guys remember he had a foot injury the other day. We thought it was just a cleats. Evidently something still bothering him there. So look, this is all precautionary. Obviously, you want to keep them out of the lineup, keep them off the practice field until they're fully ready. That way you don't go into the season missing some of your key pieces. Now, did not participate list on top of the new injuries was Rasheed Walker groin, running back Emmanuel Wilson with the knee, Dontavion Wicks with the calf, Nate Hobbs with the knee, Travis Glover with the shoulder, Kamal Haddon with the hip, Marshawn Lloyd with the groin, Christian Watson with the knee, Colin Oliver with the hamstring, and John Williams with the back injury. Now, I wanted to point
real quick, if I could just real quick say something on Colin Oliver. Got to see him running today. I haven't seen them let him like full on running. So I don't know if that's an indicator that he's getting closer, but he looked pretty good during rehab today.
That's great. That's great news right there, man. For sure. So this, I thought this was kind of cool. Matt Schneidman put a tweet out, said Dontavion Wicks seems down in the dumps today since he's missing another practice with a calf injury. I say that because Romeo Doubs just walked up to Wicks with a big smile, gave him a hug, and said he needs Wicks to smile. Romeo seemed like a different person this year, guys. Am I wrong in saying that, Jacob? It just seems like this dude's his mind is in a good spot. We're going to show a highlight or two here from practice today where he just continues to ball out. If this camp, Jacob, if it's anything, any reflection on or a look into the future, I should say, on what Romeo Doubs might do this year, my goodness, man, he's about to ball out.
Yeah, I actually kind of mentioned that a little bit last night, how I just, from all the interviews, him interacting with the fans, just his body language, it seems way different than the Rome that we're used to. And, you know, I don't want to dig into his head and put words in his mouth kind of thing, but I would agree that it seems as if that he is just more comfortable with himself and with the team, with the camaraderie, with the brotherhood in that wide receiver room. You know, I'm sure that over the last few years, it's been tough with how competitive that room has been. And finally, it seems like him and Christian, obviously terrible that Christian's dealing with the injury, but it seems like that those guys were kind of with Bird, with Reed. They're like the standalone leaders finally. Right. You know, they had a lot of time where they were kind of, oh man, we got the stream guys back in here.
Not anymore. They're gone.
All right. Thank you, Timmy. It does seem like he's turned over a new leaf, or he's just, like I said, happier. I don't know what's going on in the guy's personal life or whatever had been going on, but he just seems like he is content and really excited for the season, which makes me super jacked because even myself, I thought that there was a good chance that Rome could have seen his last days and that he could get traded at any moment. It's still a possibility, right? But I just don't feel like the Packers are ready to let him go, especially not just this year.
Yeah, and
I just caught the ball.
Emilio, it sounded like everybody was reporting too. I think Wildy had mentioned it, that Love was really bragging on Dobby as well. And you guys know they've worked out long before Romeo Doubs got into the league, right? They were working out together with the same trainer, I guess it is, right? But what do you think about Doubs here, man? Or, you know, I know some people in here, like, let's see, there was another comment. Well, first of all, Daryl says Doubs making a jump to stardom. Dan Mullen said Romeo seems like a team player, but it's also a contract year. Listen, I think that's a fair statement. You know, maybe he realized I'm about to screw my whole career up here. If there were issues behind the scenes last year, Emilio, and he seems to have gotten it cleaned up, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, thinking about it, that's the one thing I was always, you know, high on Rome for, is you have that connection with Jordan Love, right? That is a deep connection beyond just the 3-4 years that they've had together here. They're friends. They got, you know, timing down, all that stuff. That's why I would say, you know, Jordan would maybe put in a word for Doubs to keep him here. And the fact that Rome is kind of coming out with this sort of mentality and attitude after, you know, you hit a speed bump last year, you maybe, you know, had something going on, whatever. Let's grow from it. You can get better. You can't take that time back. Let's move forward with it now. And I do think that that's what he's doing, making the most of his opportunities. And hey, I'm the veteran in here basically, besides McCole, but I'm the veteran of this team. In this locker room right now, in this wide receiver room, I need to support it. I need to be there and hold them up.
Yeah. Tim, you got anything else to add to the Romeo conversation here, brother?
I can't remember. It might have been Packers official media or somewhere I saw a post basically referencing boys to men. And a lot of these young players are becoming men now. You know, we watched Jordan Love get married during the off season. You know, a lot of those guys were at that wedding. Tucker Kraft became a father. I believe Luke Musgrave became a father. There's changes that happen. We tend to forget that these players are human beings. They're not just robot, athletes. And I think it's a big part of your development when you kind of mature a little bit, both as a player on the field and as a man off the field. And I think that's probably where Rome is. And I think a lot of these guys on this team right now. So the boys are growing up a little bit now.
Yeah, it's true. Hardy the Prophet with the super chat. Thank you so much, Hardy. He says Rome went and meditated with A-Rod over the offseason. I don't know if he's being funny there, if that actually happened. You never know nowadays, right? So I know this. He's in a good spot, and I look forward to seeing him get paid. I think Romeo deep down inside is a great dude. I have my doubts that he's going to sign a long-term deal with Green Bay simply because, there's so many things that have happened up at this point. I was hearing Brian Balaga talk about it on Wildy and Tausch, and he's like, it's one of those situations where as a GM, if he does ball out, you want to – sure, you're willing to pay him if he's going to be a number one receiver, right? But also in the back of your mind, you got to be thinking, we remember what happened last year. And what if that resurfaces and now you've guaranteed a bunch of money? That gets to be a little tough, right? I still am of the opinion. I think Rome will probably play this year out, test the market. And if the market is where I think it will be, he'll probably sign a deal way more than what the Packers are willing to pay him. But I could end up being wrong there. So.
Right. But even if he's bringing that attitude and mentality to practice, so Clay, right? I mean, that leadership role, even if you want to carry it and you're going to move on after this, I appreciate you doing that now.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you for that super chat, Hardy. Good to see you, buddy. So McKinney, right? We talked about McKinney having an injury here, and it was listed here by Hockowitz as a calf, right? McKinney expects to be ready for week 1. He said, quote, obviously glad that we caught it when we caught it. Maybe this was LaFleur's quote. I don't think they specified. Obviously, we're glad we caught it when we caught it. So just kind of trying to take it slow and then the build up, obviously. But I'll be ready when it's time to go for sure. So that was McKinney talking there. So I think he's going to be good to go week 1, much like Nate Hobbs. Unless Nate Hobbs has a setback, I think both those guys will be ready to go. But, man, it's always scary when you see, some of your key premier players kind of pop up all of a sudden. It's like, man, glad we caught that right before the season. Boy, that could have been disastrous if you'd have got in season with it. So, and then, of course, Marshawn Lloyd injured on the first day in pads during training camp. He didn't practice, but he worked with the trainer. He said it wasn't a major setback. He's focused on recovery. Tim, do you have anything else on that? Have you heard anything around the facility there in terms of Marshawn Lloyd?
I didn't get to see much of the offense today, but I'm assuming he's with the rehab group, and they're trying to get him back. I mean, I almost cringe when I hear his name being brought up, because we're in the same spot with him we were in this time last year. I mean, dealing with nagging things, kind of stunting his growth. We know if that guy is healthy, he's a hell of a running back, and potential star power is just, not staying on the field is not helpful. So, long answer to a short question. I got nothing on Marshawn Lloyd. Hopefully we see him back on the field at some point here.
Got it. Hardy the Prophet with the super chat says, if he becomes Love's top target, no way he goes, talking about Doubs. I think that's a fair statement. What do you guys think? I mean, if he goes out, Jacob, and he leads in targets, he leads in catches, he leads in yards, I think there's a decent chance that they do re-sign Romeo Doubs.
Yeah, honestly, even if he does, I don't know if I just think the most likely scenario is that he's going to get offered. He's going to get an offer you can't refuse. If he does do that well, that I think that another team's going to try to shark him. Just for whatever reason, I don't see Green Bay rolling out a deep pocketbook for him when we have such depth at the wide receiver room, especially with Matthew Golden, Savion. Obviously, depending on what happens with Christian, I still, if you had to make me choose right now, I still would honestly extend Christian over Romeo. And that's not a dig on Romeo. It's just if it did happen, I would think it would happen maybe like mid-season and just try to get a team-friendly deal. But I would probably push back on that a little.
Okay. What about you guys? You agree, disagree? If Romeo comes out, leads in targets, catches, receiving yards, do you think they give him a deal?
Pay that man his money.
I
think that connection's big, man. I really do. I wouldn't be opposed to paying Rome if he comes out and does all that.
He's got the best hands on the team. I mean, unless Matthew Golden does. And listen, boys, whoo, is that what it's trending towards? That dude right there, his hands. It sounds like
stick them on him.
Yes, I mean, it's hard to not try to get too excited, because you guys, how I am. I'm probably a boring fan, but I try not to get too high, too low. But the stuff that you're seeing Matthew Golden do in camp is like, man, I haven't seen this yet. Closest thing to it was Romeo Doubs, right? What he's doing in camp is kind of right there on par with Golden. But you look at Golden, it's like this is his first NFL training camp. It's wild, man. Dan Mullen with the super chat. Thank you, Dan. He says, if you're drafting fantasy, which wide receiver are you drafting first on this squad? That's a great question there, man. Great question. So of all the Packer wide receivers that are on this roster, you have to pick from them. Who would be your top wide receiver? I don't care who goes first. I'm eager to hear this.
If you're following where the rankings are, it used to be Bird, but Golden has now surpassed him just because of the hype that's going on and the fact that they've spent that number 1 draft pick. But they're honestly, for a while there, they were literally like, I can't remember exactly where they were ranked. It was like 149 and 150th or something like that. They were going in like the 7th and 8th round kind of thing. Like I said, there is now a bit of a gap between them just because Golden has looked so good. And a lot of times the preseason, the OTAs, the mini camp stuff doesn't sway the draft community as much as it, but the fact that it has so much, that is a testament to how well Matthew Golden is doing, so that people are like, oh, that we got to put some respect on this dude's name. Like it seems like, we've talked about it multiple segments. It just seems to be clicking for him and way faster than I expected at this point.
Yeah. So I think it does come down to these 3 though, right, Amelia? You're talking about Golden, Doubs, and who's the other one? Reed. Our leading receiver last 2 years.
I almost want to pick Rome. I think I just got a feeling for him this year. So I think, Dan, I would choose Rome for this, though I am excited for Reed and Golden, absolutely. But I think just the reliability of Rome being out there and being Jordan's go-to, his relief, his check valve, all that. I think that's where I will put my money.
So, Jacob, I'm assuming they got Doubs third. In terms of those rankings, if you're just talking Packers receivers, it would be, you're saying it's Golden, Doubs, and then it would be, Golden, Reed, then Doubs. Is that how it lines up? And is that average draft position, or is that just projected points for the year?
That's ADP, which basically goes off of what their projected points are. But the thing is last year, every single Packers wide receiver was basically in this bunch, kind of in that same area. Nobody was willing to really go out and say who's going to be the guy. And basically, obviously, Bird was the guy, and Tucker was surprisingly the second one there, right? As far as production, Tucker had a lot of touchdowns and outscored a lot of the guys on the Packers. So most people are not touching Packers wide receivers until they absolutely have to. But I'm telling you guys, you could get a steal with Doubs, because Doubs has fallen quite a bit. You could also get a steal with even a guy like Savion Williams. I'll guarantee you that there's maybe 2% of most drafts that you're going to be in, are you going to even know who Savion Williams is, let alone draft him? If he, for whatever reason, comes out and has 5 to 10 touchdowns because he uses them on gadget plays in the end zone, all that kind of stuff, that's the definition of a league winner right there. Somebody that differentiates you from other teams. So it's impressive, man.
Good stuff. And listen, I'm not a huge fantasy football fan, guys, but I love these type of conversations because it really makes people think, all right, who's going to be the most productive, right? And I love hearing what everybody in the chat thinks too. I was seeing it seemed like it was mostly Doubs, Golden, Doubs, Golden, Doubs, Golden, right? You don't hear Reed much, but I would have to go with Reed if it were me personally. So thank you for that super chat, Dan. Appreciate you. All right, let's get back to the practice updates. This is exciting stuff. Rich Rosa over on Twitter said tight end Tucker Kraft just had an insane one-handed catch during red zone offense work, day 12 of training camp in Green Bay. And I think we've actually got that clip, unless our boy Tucker Kraft actually made 2 one-handed grabs. But you guys tell me what you think here. This came from our buddy Baz, who tweeted this out over on X. So you're going to notice here, and it is zoomed out a little bit, Tucker's going to be running from this side of the formation, right, and coming across. He gets right behind that second line of defense. And watch Tucker with this one-handed grab here. Kind of hard to see, but look, right here. Woo! I'm telling you, man, People were sleeping on Tucker Kraft's hands. They are. That's a hell of a grab.
And just as well, I love that Matt added the halfback shuffle there, halfback shuffle motion. Get Jacobs off of Jordan's hip. Let's get him outside, and you can get upfield immediately. But yeah, what a grab! I mean, right around Quay's ear hole. Good ball, good catch.
I think Quay was looking for that safety help. Was that Zane Anderson there, 39, a little late? Because it looked like Quay had him faced up, and then look at the ball placement.
It's insane, man.
I mean,
insane.
I think that's just freak athletic ability right there from Tucker Kraft, man.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad look from Quay there, I guess. I mean, especially considering he's just kind of getting his groove back in teams, right now.
Yeah, Tony Holman says I had to buy myself a Kraft jersey yesterday while in Green Bay. Jacob, I truly think they're sleeping on Tucker Kraft this year, man. I do.
They really are. I listened to multiple podcasts over the last week, and guys that I sincerely trust, not just fantasy, not just actual NFL commentators and stuff, have talked about how they think that Tucker Kraft is a top 5 tight end already, and that this year, depending on what could happen, he could break the top 4, top 3. I really do think he is that kind of guy. We dove into the metrics with if he were to get the same amount of targets as Brock Bowers did, who shattered that rookie record, who all had one of the best tight end seasons of anybody of all time, Tucker Kraft would have had more yards and probably better stats, which is insane to think.
It is nuts.
Yeah, I saw that, Chad Bates. Me and Bates, no, we're in the same league, so I know what he's trying to do here. But
so Bates has a super chat here for those listening on the pod. Jacob, can you give us your top prospect for each round of fantasy? So Bates over there playing chess, not checkers, like just trying to get him to slip up.
Yeah,
just a touch.
Caleb Williams in the first for sure. Emmitt Smith is good, I hear. And
he was actually on Ross Tucker's pod today.
I actually heard that. It was yesterday, Emilio, but can't expect you to be
nice
on time.
distraction there, Jacob. Just kind of deviate the conversation away from that, right?
I'm not giving up none of my trade secrets here.
Yeah, you're not
this
giving
is for
up
money. We're playing for money.
Thank you.
Bates for hey, let me hear your prospects.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Thank you, Bates. We appreciate you, buddy. All right, moving along here, back to the practice update. Romeo Doubs does it again with a 20-yard touchdown over the shoulder from Love. Outstanding throw to place it over Ballantyne. Sounds like Ballantyne has come back into camp too with his hair on fire a little bit. You can tell he sees an opportunity. You don't want to let it slip by, but this is one heck of a throw and catch from Jordan Love to Romeo Doubs. Similar placement. You're going to notice Doubs over here in this general area to the left. And watch Dobby bring this in. You'll see Ballantyne. I believe it's Ballantyne that jumps in the air. You just see arms flailing, and it just drops right in the basket. Right?
I just caught the ball.
I believe this is it. Did I get it crossed up? Nope, I got it crossed up. My bad, guys. Got it mixed up. This is actually our boy Matthew Golden. My bad. Here's the Doubs connection. Let me get this up here. Thought I had everything in line. You could tell I was running behind when I got in here today. All right. Here we go. Yeah, here's the Doubs connection. And again, this came out from Baz over on X. So watch him. You're going to see him kind of work his way outside.
There we go.
Look at that. Perfect placement on that ball from Love. And again, you'll notice Ballantyne at the end here. I mean, he's full extension. He just drops that thing right in the bucket. Unbelievable throw and catch there from Dobby. Again, man, he's continuing to flash. What else can you say,
Yeah. Rummy Rome in the house, watch your mouth. That's what you say.
It is nice to see, too, that Ballantyne was in position, somewhat, and just absolute perfect bucket drop, like you said. I mean, can't get mad at that from either angle.
He played that. He played it perfect. Ballantyne did. Like, there's not nothing else you can do really there. Just a great throw. And you're seeing Jordan Love this camp with a little more touch, it feels like, right? Which I think is absolutely huge for his game, the evolution of his game, I should say. So, yeah, we got Bernie in the house with the super chat. Thank you so much, Bernie. You're too kind, buddy. He says, love the PTA energy. Go Pack. Go. Hey, man, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. I think I know what you're talking about with the PTA energy. We try to keep things on the positive side over here. And, you'll hear we had a negative Nancy in the chat pre-show. And I'm pretty sure it was Big O again with one of his 75 accounts, because you always know it's Big O because he just rapid fires a bunch of negative comments one after another,
That's what the tape of Italy was, right?
Yeah. And it's funny, too, because when you get a group together like we've got here, what ends up happening is the turds kind of float to the top of the water and they really stick out. You know what I mean? Like you're like, yeah, that's a turd. Let's get him out of here. And we just do everything we can to keep the punch bowl clean. You know what I mean, Emilio? You know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely. We're not making jungle juice right now.
Dan Mullen, and thank you so much, Bernie. We appreciate that, man. It's very generous of you. Dan Mullen says, with the super chat, any player that you feel is on the bubble right now that you're hoping makes the team? That's
Malik Heath.
Yeah, that's a good one, Tim. I can't disagree with that one. Let's go around the horn with that. I'm going to put Emilio on the spot here. Give Jacob a second to think about it. Emilio, what player it's on the bubble? And, listen, on IR for the year doesn't mean they're on the bubble. You know what I mean?
No, I know. He's good. He's already on the squad. I'm not worried about that.
he's on the 54-man roster.
For sure. So, yeah, if I were to pick somebody, man, that's tough. I like
tough.
Tim's answer. I want water cooler there for sure. I think he's proven himself. He's got sticky hands just like Doubs. He catches basically everything that's thrown his way, and he's reliable, right? And Matt likes the way he blocks, his effort, all that.
Yeah.
Tim, I think I'm gonna steal that from you, bud.
That's okay. We can share it. It's
okay.
Cool.
I appreciate that.
So who was it?
Malik Heath.
Malik Heath. Got it. All right, Jacob. What about you, man? Who's yours?
I don't know if mine counts necessarily, but I would go probably Nazir Stackhouse. Would you consider him a bubble guy?
I think so.
Hey, I think so.
DFA is a bubble guy until he plays his way out of the
fair.
team.
That's very fair.
I think I'd have to go with him, man. I did see another one, Omar Brown. He's just done so much. It's a tough room to crack. That would probably mean that the man, the myth that doesn't exist, Mr. Zane Anderson, probably wouldn't make the team, something like that. I wouldn't necessarily love that, but I like the younger, more promising upside guy. So I'd say probably like a Omar Brown or an Nazir Stackhouse.
Mm-hmm. For me, man, it's tough because, last year I would have said Ballantyne, right? Yeah. And they cut him loose, and now he's back on the roster, and I don't feel the same way this year. You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, he obviously didn't have enough in the tank to make the roster last year. I don't know, man. Maybe it's a couple of names that come to mind for me is like say a Chris Brooks, although you could probably get him on the practice squad. I think there's a decent chance of that. When you look at the safety room, everybody's talking about Omar Brown, right? I worry that Zane Anderson is going to be the next guy that kind of gets the axe, and I'm going to be going, man, I really wanted to see him in an expanded role a little bit, even if it's just mop-up time. And I'm glad we get to see him in the preseason. But Zane Anderson, man, when he played last year, he surprised the heck out of me. And again, it was like it wasn't a whole lot of snaps, but boy, oh boy, did he look comfortable in this Jeff Hafley defense, man.
Yeah. What do you think about the Bo Melton conversation?
Yeah, and thank you so much, Dan.
Jacob.
Yeah, appreciate the super chat there, Dan. You are the man, buddy. Jim H says Bo Melton got some first team reps today. I'm telling you, man. If you really focus on like the local beat reporters and everything, every year they'll kind of tip the hand a little bit. Just being around the facility, you could tell when someone's kind of safe. And I wouldn't have thought this going into camp. I mean, you guys know how I felt. As soon as they said he was a cornerback, I was like, oh, boy.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time. But I do eat them, though.
But, man, it's feeling like he is, if you want to consider him a bubble, I think that's a decent, description of the situation. But also with Bo Melton, it sounds like he might be competing for a starting role, which is crazy to think about all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the interview with him today on Packers.com, their YouTube channel, they asked him how he actually liking cornerback. And he's like, I actually really like it. Mm-hmm. And they asked, more than corner or more than wide receiver. And he said, they're different, but he said he's like genuinely excited that he's getting more and more excited every single day. Like Ron says that he's talking with his brother, how he had played it in the past, how the PBUs is almost like scoring a touchdown for him right now, which is really cool. And how he really does think that when he made the move, he's like, man, it's going to take some time, blah, blah, blah. Like how Half said, it's a process. Don't be too quick to judge in either direction. And then he said, and then I started making plays, and I was kind of impressed by how many plays I've made. Now I've made a lot of plays, and it sounds like he is sincerely looking really good. And one thing I actually wrote down, he talked about, which me and Emilio, I believe, had mentioned how he thinks he has a little bit of an advantage because as he gets past the 5-yard marker, he knows that certain routes are not going to happen. As he gets to the 10-yard marker, he knows that certain routes are not going to happen. based on the breaking points of where those routes would need to have already started.
Mhm.
He gets to 15 yards, gets to 20 yards. He knows that they're doing nothing unless they're doing a go route. You know what I mean? Like he's got that kind of mentality of I know what the route tree looks like and what they need to do to set it up. Therefore, he has a split second on most of these cornerbacks that are kind of reacting where he's looking at it through the eyes of the wide receiver, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Jacob. I was listening to that too. You think of just such little nuances of, hey, he's gotten past the 6-yard line. All right, I've gotten rid of a flat. I've gotten rid of this quick out. I've gotten rid of the quick slant. All right, I've gotten to 10. Now what's happening? I think that is super important, and the fact that he thought he was going to be kind of step behind on comebacks or hitches or anything like that. He's actually impressed himself about how he's in the dude's hip pocket the whole time, being able to make a play. Obviously, you're going to miss one here and there, but I think he really does I feel like he gets, he's happy about it, giddy about like being a corner right now, which is awesome.
Yeah, I love what Andy Monday says. He goes, Bo's making plays. Better call him Shakespeare.
Oh, I see what you did there.
See?
Andy Monday always raising the IQ of the silly little program. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, let's get back to practice updates. And thank you guys so much for the super chat. Seriously, I don't want to use the whole show thanking you, but please understand we appreciate it more than you know. Edge defender Lucas Van Ness stuffed Josh Jacobs on a run play by overpowering his blockers. So not only are we seeing LVM beat both Anthony Belton and Jordan Morgan like drums rushing the quarterback, all of a sudden he's making his presence felt there against the run as well. Malik Willis' first pass nearly intercepted by safety Katano Ladapo, followed with a downfield strike to tight end John Fitzpatrick. Willis in the red zone, 2 of 4 passing, batted pass by cornerback Kalen King, dropped by wide receiver Will Shepard, a touchdown to wide receiver Julian Hicks. It was a tumbling catch, and short completion to wide receiver Cornelius Johnson. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Kalen King, have we seen anything negative on him throughout this camp so far? It just seems like, he had the interception, right? Was that on family night? He had the interception. Tim, have you heard anything negative on Kalen King this camp? It seems like he's having a pretty good camp, right?
I agree. Yeah, I haven't heard anything negative or seen anything like firsthand. Of course, guys, when they break off into drills, a lot of times they'll have to do something, maybe repeat it once or twice if they, miss a step or something. That's just kind of the mantra with this team this year is getting right the first time, every time. And if you don't, we're going to have you do it until you get it right. And we're not going to move on until we figured it out. And I haven't seen Kalen King making too many mistakes. So pretty positive camp for him this year, which is we're excited for, right? We were excited to, get a look at him last year. And I think he kind of, that kind of unofficial red-shirted rookie season, I think this kid is ready to play ball, and it shows. It does.
No. Yeah. MG Toe Legion in the chat says, I'm rooting big time for King. I am too, man. King's one of those guys that if he can return to that next to last year in college that he had at Penn State, man, he was a dog. He played the game so physical. Really, really would like to see him kind of take that next step. Also today, defensive end Aaron Mosby back from injury, batted a Willis pass. Later, a screen pass was deflected and nearly intercepted by Brenton Cox Jr. So Brenton Cox Jr. also seems like he's having a pretty darn good camp, man. We talked about he looks more physical. He looks quicker. He looks like he knows what he's doing. Last year, he proved, hey, I can play the run too, guys. If there's anybody on this roster that's earned more snaps in the regular season, it's our boy Brenton Cox Jr. Man. There's no doubt about it.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Matt LaFleur did note, though, that more batted passes in practice due to less aggressive rushing. Okay,
Right.
Meaning the guys aren't pinning their ears back and going after the quarterback, so they're just looking to get their hands up in the throwing lane.
Quarterback's got a red jersey on for a reason, right? You got to stay off of them. Matt was talking about that in his presser. Yeah, obviously we're not going after it. And he was also talking about, with Malik being able, when he scrambles and stuff, keep that ball up so you're not telltale sign that you're going to be running it. And then on top of that, him keeping the ball up, knowing that he's not really going to run it. The defense is coming at you, but training them not to leave their feet. You want to run through the quarterback. You can't do that right now, right? So you got to try to, stop him on other ways.
Yeah, it's a great point. Cornerback Kalen King here again, guys. Broke up A deep 50-50 ball from Willis to Johnson. King expressed confidence in his camp performance. Listen, I don't want to harp on it too much, but it's kind of feeling like maybe that's my bubble guy that I want to see make the roster. Maybe that's the answer.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you look at – let's pull up the depth chart real quick, and we'll get back to the camp updates here. When you look at cornerback, let's assume Nate Hobbs is ready for week 1, okay, and he doesn't start on the IR. You got Nate Hobbs.
BTA. You know what I'm saying?
You got Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, Javon Bullard, right? You've got Carrington Valentine. Then it comes down to Bo Melton and Kalen King, right? That's
Unless
the next.
you're throwing Bullard in the safety room, right? Is that kind of how –
I don't see it that way. I see Bullard as a nickel corner. He's played number 1 nickel the entire camp. He played number 1 nickel last year, unless the safety got hurt and he kicked the safety. I strictly see Bullard as a slot corner who can play safety as opposed to a safety who can play slot corner. That's just going off of how the season ended and how they've lined them up during camp. And maybe you guys see that different. Do y'all see that different? Do y'all see Bullard playing safety instead of slot corner?
No, I agree 100% with your assessment on where Bullard's at. It's just the team is listing him as a safety. And it's so
that's what I mean, yeah.
So there might be an effort on the Packers' part to kind of get him around to also being able to, play on the back end a little bit more for us. As the coverage, grade hopefully improves on him. But I'm with you, Clay. I think Bullard is best suited as just a smash mouth slot corner.
And I will refer back to last year when the depth chart originally released last year. I specifically remember them asking Matt LaFleur in the presser, hey, your depth chart came out today. He said, oh, did it? He said, just so you guys know, no one even asked me about that depth chart. That's what he said.
And
Fake news. It's fake news.
I could have sworn Matt said in his presser, not this one, maybe the one before that, Bull is still practicing both safety and nickel. Like, they're still asking him to do both. He's a smart guy. He can do that. But he said that he is impressed kind of the way he's, working in the box and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, my question to everybody is this, and this is how I answer whether he's a slot corner or a safety. Day 1, do you start Javon Bullard over Evan Williams at safety, yes or no?
No.
Okay. Day 1, do you start Javon Bullard in the slot, seeing that Nate Hobbs is outside, or do you bring in Kalen King to play the slot, or whoever's next on the depth?
Bullard in the slot. Yeah.
To me, he's a slot corner. That's you know what I mean? Because when injuries happen, Emilio, you're spot on, dude. Things are going to get shuffled around. I mean, it's going to happen. I think we will see him at safety at some point. But
I think kind of to this point, Clay, where Chris was asking, I was kind of going slot corner, second hardest position to QB1, in my opinion. I think that's fair. You're asking the guy has to cover either a wide receiver or a tight end, size, speed. You got running backs out of the backfield. You've got motion. Half the time you're on the wide side. You got to hold contain. Are you in a flat? All these things. And on top of that, you're also learning safety. So that's where I'm like, I would like him to maybe pick one, but I also the Packers like the flexibility anyway. So why would they stop training a guy 2 ways if he can do that?
No, I think it's a great point, man. I do.
We saw that last year, right? He was thrust into that, that role, having to start a couple of times at safety, and he didn't look well because I don't think he was ready. I think he played a lot of slot, and when they called his number, he was, struggling a little bit. So I think there's probably an emphasis to kind of get him well-rounded,
Yeah. And speaking of thrusting, Respect Orange just says, Omer has a guinea pig farm, so he never runs out of things to throw. So there you go. Appreciate that update. Heard it from a fan right here. Kicker Brandon McManus. He was 4 of 6 on field goals today. All right. Missing from 47 wide right and 52 wide left.
Caught him.
Yeah, cut his ass. Overall camp record is 48 of 52.
I wish we knew the hash that he was kicking from, because I've been watching them, and I'm trying to see which one, because some of the misses. First of all, when this guy misses a field goal, it's by like 3 centimeters. It's
Didn't he hit the post today?
Yeah, or he hits an upright or hits the crossbar maybe. I mean, he doesn't miss by much. And again, it was pretty windy today. It wasn't like exactly calm out there.
Which is good practice. I'd rather him miss and, hey, how did I feel on that crosswind? What happened? Did I lose it, near the post, or did I lose it right off the snap?
Yep. It's like sighting in that new rifle, right? You gotta dial it in. It takes a few reps, right?
Dude, that's the stuff he's gonna have to deal with in Lambeau again, I mean, listen, go pop in Madden 26, put it in heavy snow. Good luck even seeing the uprights. You know what I mean? So, no, I'm with you on that, Amelia. I think it's a great point that you want it to be windy out there. Jacob, I don't know about you, but hearing Tim describe training camp, a little breeze blowing, does it not sound like heaven on earth, dude? Just out there in Green Bay.
It definitely does. Absolutely. I mean, Wisconsin weather is very unique, whereas one day it's the most beautiful place you've ever seen in your life, and the next it's just miserable. Insanity and miserable. The summer's like that too. People think that, because Green Bay is quote unquote cold. It's summer hot. Is one of the most tropical, humid freaking climates for just about 2 or 3 months, but it is brutal. But when you get a good day, it is a great day. You got a little light breeze, that sun's hitting just right. Except for Canada, pumping a bunch of smoke into us. But I don't want to get into Canada again.
We appreciate that, Jake.
I just honestly, it is really great. And God, where did I see a
live look at Jacob talking right now?
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Steve.
Coach has some bad news.
Is that a pirate? What the hell am I looking at?
It's Steve the Pirate from Dodgeball.
Dodgeball?
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's right.
Yeah. Coach Lentz says, what?
I'm joking. I've seen it. Jacob, carry on, for God's sake.
Coach Lentz says Ennis Rakestraw for Detroit is going on season-ending IR, Tim.
Damn.
So now Emilio's in the dirt.
We didn't
Tim's in the dirt.
I'm glad we didn't draft.
We better put some bubble wrap on Brenton Cox Jr. I swear to Lord.
Oh, my God. We got breaking news. Unbelievable. All right, so practice ended with Malik Willis bullet pass deflected by cornerback Corey Ballantyne. All right, too old for this. There's a guy on our team who dresses like a pirate. I do remember that part now.
Yeah.
Such a good wasn't that the one that had the sound drop to that says "Listen up, crotch sweat, crotch stain"?
Yeah. Yes.
That was Rip Torn, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Dodge a ball. There it is. That's what I was looking for. So, again, Corey Ballantyne seems to be having a pretty good camp. I think he's probably going to end up being one of those practice squad possibilities. But you guys know how I felt about Corey Ballantyne before last year. It's funny, too, because the year before, I was like, man, Carrington does not look like an NFL corner his rookie year. Corey Ballantyne's the truth. Corey Ballantyne gets cut. Carrington Ballantyne is our best corner last year. So what do I know when it comes to camp? But those are your camp updates. That's going to do it for hour one. For those of you listening on the pod, we will see you on the other side for hour two, where we're going to give you Jordan Love updates, little Matthew Golden highlights as well. But we'll see you over there. We appreciate you.
For those of you listening on the pod,
welcome into hour two. All right, let's carry on here, gents. Matthew Golden, the man of the hour. I'm starting to think Goody absolutely crushed this pick, Tim. I mean, do you remember when he drafted him, he said we felt like Matthew Golden had the best hands of any receiver in the entire draft? I remember that specifically. And I'm going to be honest with you, kind of rolled my eyes a little bit because I'm like, guys, we got drop percentages. We've broken it down. We got, I don't think he's got bad hands, but to say he's got the best hands. And then lo and behold, Tim, he comes out in camp and he's got the best hands in camp other than Romeo Doubs probably.
Yeah, and you guys know I had that borderline unhealthy obsession with Jaden Higgins throughout the draft process, and
I think we all did a little too, Tim,
And I'm sure Jaden Higgins is going to have a great career, and best wishes to him and everything. But it took a while for me to digest, and once we because you're kind of you remember draft night, you almost didn't believe it happened, even though we saw it live. You know what I mean? And it's like I got to tell you, the more I've seen of Matthew Golden just up close, and even going back and doing a little bit of tape study from his Texas tape, I think it's a true statement. I think he has the best hands of anybody in that draft, and he's right there, if not maybe even runs a better route tree than Jaden Higgins, a guy who I was extremely impressed with his tape. So and at the end of the day, I feel really good about this draft pick, and I think Matthew Golden's going to be a star. He's going to be an absolute star in this league.
Yeah. And this tweet came out from Baz as well. We've shown Matthew Golden winning deep. We've showed him working the sideline with the hitch route. We showed him kind of work a slant route, right, off the press, little outside jab, slant in. And I think he was cooking Nixon there the first day. Now you're going to see him on a little cross, a little shallow cross here. Looks like it may be almost like a I don't know, like a not a flood concept, but like a follow. You see it, Emilio? And dude, look how quick he is right here.
You know what set that up again, though, Clay? Look at that little halfback shuffle, draw Quay right out of the zone, and you just bring in speed and, quickness. Get it out of Jordan Love's hands. Let's not have to worry about blocking too long. 1, 2, 3, get to the top of the hitch and throw it.
And explain to people why that shuffle is so important to me. Look at where Matthew Golden is catching the football. Right. Now watch it pre-snap and watch what Quay Walker does because it's man coverage. He's out of that area now.
Because Elton would have ID'd him, right, Clay? We would have ID'd Quay as the mic currently. We go, all right, I'm going to give Jacobs a little tap. Oh, the mic's gone. All right, our blocking, whatever our blocking schedule is, what we're doing, good. And that opens up the center of that's perfect. And it also gives Jordan, hey, heads up, we're definitely in man. If the linebacker's going after the running back, unless you're running, half zone, half man, which is rare. But, that just opens it right up. Nice little concept. Get it out quick right in front of you.
Yeah, and what the drive concept's what I was trying to think of. It doesn't look like a drive there, but you're gathering intel with that pre-snap shuffle, right? You're noticing man coverage, like you said. You don't have to worry about IDing them. Even if you ID'd Quay as the mock on that specific play, as soon as he shuffles out, every offensive lineman should know, all right, where do I need to help now that 7 is out of the pass protection? So, just again, what you're seeing here, though, Jacob, Matthew Golden, how quick, throws a little bit behind him. Look at the hands once again. Whoop. And he's just so twitchy. He's quick. He's smooth. My old baseball coach in high school used to say, be quick, but don't get in a hurry. That he looks like he's mastered that, man.
Yeah, I agree. We keep using the same. Well, I keep using the same term. It looks effortless. He just seems as if that things aren't moving too fast for him. Like when he got in the league, I think Matt LaFleur made a comment again where he said there's a lot going on upstairs, and I misread that to think he's overthinking. Blah blah blah. It's the fact that he's processing like Clayton's supercomputer. Like he doesn't have to there's no hindrance there. It just seems the transition from college to the pros has been so smooth, and the way that he does the little things. I think Ryan highlighted it earlier on his podcast where it was just that the play that we highlighted just a few episodes, Clay, where he does a little out route, tiptoes, and has enough to do 4 tiptoe chop steps before he hits that sideline. But somehow I thought this guy's out of bounds. As soon as he made the break on the ball, I thought, man, he's not going to be able to get those feet in bounds. He got 4 of them. He did a little tippy toe, and then just turned upfield as if it was nothing. If he had another 6 inches, he could have ran the sideline like a track star. You know what I mean? It's just, you can't teach that. I feel like there's something that is just built in that guy.
Yeah, and then you follow him. It's like every other post is something spiritual. He just seems well-grounded. We've seen the videos too, Tim, where he's using choice language, fired up out there working out, you know what I mean, getting ready for the season on his own. And then all of a sudden it's just bring it back to center. It's, you got an IG story about Jesus,
That's right. I mean, you put the helmet pads and the cleats on and step onto that gridiron. It's a whole different world out there, And I think it's a real treat that we've got this guy. I mean, he's going to be a star. We all know it. I watched this rep here as we got it on loop, which I love it. This is a great angle. I wonder if Jordan is just getting used to just how fast and quick Matthew Golden really is. I kind of look here and go, why didn't that ball get out sooner? Or, why didn't you lead him up the field? If he leads him up the field a little bit on this throw, I mean, that guy's gone. Afterburners up the sideline for a tutter. So, I mean, time will tell how he develops. But like Jacob is saying, the transition from the college game to the NFL does not seem like a big deal to him at all. He's handling it very well. He already kind of moves and looks and carries himself like a veteran out there alre's really fun to watch.
Absolutely.
So we showed you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Jacob, you heard it in Bo's interview was, hey, the offensive play calls could be 20 minutes long with a different name, different word for every person that's going to be doing something on that offense. The fact that he's able to pick that up, I think absolutely speaks to the, what's going on upstairs.
Yeah, and again, it helps that he was in Steve Sarkisian's offense down there in Texas, where they used a lot of cheat motion. Right? They would cheat him to stack. They would go from stack and cheat him outside, out wide to what would be a Baylor pre-snap, but he's in cheat motion. Right? There's just a lot of things, and there's choice routes that are baked into that offense as well. So, and he, kind of make chicken salad out of chicken, you know what, with Quinn Ewers' arm being banged up all year long and couldn't throw the deep shot the way he needed to and whatnot. So, but again, the play of the day, actually, according to Bill Huber, I believe it was in his article, he called it the play of the day. Matthew Golden. Love threw a zing pass to the back of the end zone. Golden made a sensational catch, keeping both feet inbounds while landing on his back. So a little toe tag or toe tap. What is it called? Toe drag swag is what they used to say. So 2 feet in, landed on his back. And then Matt Schneidman tweeted about the same places. Matthew Golden's hands are special. Just made a falling fingertip grab in the back of the end zone during a red zone drill. Goody said the night they drafted him, he thought Golden had arguably the best hands in the draft. Useful for a team that dropped a lot of passes.
How about these hands?
Scared the hell out of me.
Rock, that scared me, dude.
Sorry, Rock. I'm sit up straight in my chair. But yeah, so again, man, what you're seeing there is just Matthew Golden as advertised. And Matt Schneidman is not a Packer fan, guys. He covers the team, right? When you see him kind of glow over a rookie wide receiver like this, it really, really makes me kind of perk my ears up a little bit more. Now, we got a video that dropped earlier. Tim, if you can get me a screen grab, give me one that covers the whole screen here. This was actually put out by give me that not that one, Amelia. What the hell's wrong with you? Give me the Matt LaFleur in the do-rag, or with the lung dart with Goody. That's perfect. Yeah, that's good right there. So
looks like me.
We got Suge Halfley and Tupac LaFleur. Let's go.
Now listen, I apologize. I can't crank it up any louder than it is, so you guys get close to your TV, turn the volume up. This tweet was sent out by Kevin Clark, and I think it was from his show, This Is Football, okay, and it was on ESPN. But Matthew Golden, when Jordan Love was asked, okay, when Jordan Love was asked about, who are you most excited about, essentially, listen to Jordan Love's answer. There's no hesitation whatsoever. And again, I apologize for the volume. I'll try to fix it on the pod for you guys. Here we go.
Cricketers, most impressive newcomer so far.
Matthew Golden.
Take me through what makes him special so far.
Man, I think he's shown up since day one and just really shown his play style. Showing what he's all about. I think he came in really polished and has been making plays since day one. He's got very aggressive hands. He's a smooth route runner. He's got speed. So I think for him, it's just continue to understand the playbook and wrap his head around everything that we have in. Because we have a very deep system, but you can see when he knows what he's doing, he's feeling confident. He's been playing lights out. He's gonna be.
How freaking cool is that, dude? Like seriously, they ask him, "Hey, who's the newcomer that's impressed you the most?" I mean, there was no hesitation. Matthew Golden. I love that he mentioned the strong hands, right? The aggressive hands, as he called it, right? He's a smooth route runner. Obviously, he's got 4.2 speed, and the way he's talking about him picking up the offense as well is just absolutely huge. So, really, really excited about Matthew Golden this year. Anything else on the Golden Child, Matthew Golden, here, number 22? Good.
How much more dynamic can this wide receiver room get, right? I mean, my goodness, boys, it's going to be a hell of a ride this year. We got some weapons.
Yeah, it's true, man. And it's funny, too, because some of the later round picks, like your Romeo Doubs and your Dontavion Wicks, and even Jaden Reed being a second-round pick, obviously not a late pick, but not a first-rounder, those guys have now had time to kind of step into their own and get better every year. And then you got Matthew Golden, who seems like he's going to hit the ground running. So Ed Madden in the chat. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, you're good, man. You're good. Ed Madden says, with all of our receivers, DBs are going to be gassed. And see, that's the other thing, Ed. The problem with Romeo last year, where it seemed to get upset with his what am I trying to say here?
Demeanor.
His role in the system. That seemed to be something that he was upset about. Now, at the time, he was like within 5 targets of everybody else that was leading. There was 3 receivers that were leading. It was Jaden Reed, Dontavion Wicks, and Romeo Doubs that were all within 5 targets of each other when Romeo kind of had that problem. That's absolutely – it's kind of like what we do on defense with the pass rushers, right? Rotating guys in and out, in and out, in and out. And you get used to guys' moves. And imagine you're a DB. And they're telling you, okay, look, here's their 2 best receivers. You need to watch the tape on them, learn their move, pick up on their tendencies, the way that their release package when you're trying to play press, or the way that they sell the stutter go, whatever it may be, right? As you're watching the tape on that, and then all of a sudden they get a heavy rotation of these other guys coming in and out of the game, It's no different than you trying to learn the tendencies of a pass rusher and trying to set up for their counter move and their counter move. I think there's a lot of strength in that. I think there's a lot of value there. So I think that's a great point, Ed. Jordan Love's day. Let's talk about Jay Love today. And again, he had a lighter workload today, participated in footwork drills and threw into nets during individuals, only simulated throws in the running backs, period. Okay, so they kind of held him back a little bit today. In 11-on-11 drills, he was sharp, completing 9 of 11 passes with 3 touchdowns. The 2 incompletions included 1 questionable official call. The hell's their problem over there, Tim? The official screw.
They let AFAM into practice, and I didn't grab him and pick him out of there.
Idiots.
Unbelievable. So, including 1 questionable official call and an intentional throwaway. So, what it tells you is he was 10 of 11, essentially, right? Adjusted completion, ratio or what have you. He was 10 of 11, with 1 of them being the only incompletion could have been a questionable call. So, sound like Jordan Love had a heck of a day. And Bill Huber said he was the player of the day. Jordan Love started strong with a bullet pass to Savion Williams for a leaping catch. Let's freaking go. In the red zone, short completion to Matthew Golden, one-handed touchdown catch by Tucker Kraft, rolled out of bounds. All right, that must have been the one. Touchdown rifle to Williams with potential big hit. I like that they mentioned that too. That, you know what I mean, Emilio? Like you'll see a guy make a catch and they're like, listen, this had been a game. He probably would have taken a shot in the ribs and dropped the ball. I think it's important to put that stuff into context. TD pass to Golden, detailed below. Ran a quarterback option for a touchdown after faking out Isaiah Simmons. Did we just hear Jordan Love running the read option, boys?
Wow.
Let's get it. It didn't sound like a light day to me.
Hey, sure beats another damn jet sweep, right? Let's go.
And it brings that 6 back in there. I mean, you got to worry about another player. He doesn't have to do it all the time. Once, twice, max 3 times a game. If we need him 4 or 5, fine. But just you got to keep him honest.
Yeah. And what Emilio means by 6 back when he says that, guys, there's a term that's used by front office personnel and coaches across the league. It's called the 6 back offense. And what that means is typically you only have to account for 5 weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Like when you're on defense, you got to cover, it could be 5 receivers if they're on the field. It could be 4 receivers, 1 running back. It could be 3 receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 running back. You've always got 5 that you've got to kind of account for, right? That's why if you want to bring a 0 blitz, you got to have 5 in coverage and man coverage, all those things. When you say 6 back offense, the quarterback with the RPR game, run, pass, run option, now you have to account for the quarterback. So now it goes from what we call a 5-back offense that you're defending to a 6-back offense, and it changes the numbers game. And again, it's all
6-back, not 6-pack, Jacob.
Yes, that's correct.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't have to, sir. So that's what Emilio meant by 6-back offense. You guys can kind of do a little research. It's what Philly does so well. The RPR, like when he said option play, I imagine it was just a zone read option play, but it may have been an RPR. Not having the tape, you don't know. But like with the zone read, typically what you'll do is you'll put the ball in the belly of the running back and you'll read the end. If the end crashes inside, you pull it and you keep it with the quarterback. If the end stands straight up, he strafes, he squares up like, okay, I'm covering the running back, or I'm covering the quarterback contain. You give it to the running back and he takes off upfield, right? With the RPO look, run pass option, you've got a run and a pass baked into the same place. So you may have a bubble screen with 2 lead blockers with the trips left look. You got a sidecar right. You're going to put the ball in the belly of the running back. And if that guy that's covering the 3, which is the bubble, if he crashes in to help with the run, you fire it out to the bubble. If he holds his ground, you just give it to the running back, and you now have the hat count +1 because that guy's isolated with the bubble screen, the smoke, whatever it may be on the outside, and you could give the ball to the running back, and now you got a light box essentially, right? Because, I mean, all football is attacking space and defending space. That's all it is. It's such a simple game. And then you take it 1 layer deeper and you're talking hat counts. You always want to be +1 hat. So when you go RPR, so we explain what a zone read is. We explain what a run pass option is. Now with a run pass run option, there's a 3rd layer to it to where you can give the ball to the running back. You can throw it. I'm just saying bubble. It don't have to be a bubble. It could be a lookie.
You can do a quick slant. Yeah, you can do a lookie. You got a pop pass. Oh, yes. Clayton, the pop pass in college football. Woo-wee.
Cheese.
Okay, that got me a win. That was a 2-point converter right there. That got me a W. So
we're gonna give him some.
Did you beat
Miami.
Valdosta State?
I was Florida State. I beat Miami. I play Clemson tonight or tomorrow.
I don't know. It might have been Podunk University over there. I don't know. But anyway, with the third layer of it, you know what I mean? You can hand the ball to the running back, you can fire the bubble, or the quarterback can pull it and run it himself. Yep. So you've got 3 layers: run, pass, run, option. That's RPR. That's a 6-back offense. That was really.
And I like that Jay Love was talking about that in his interview about, hey, going back, obviously, maybe some of the why I didn't run was injury wise, but also looking at the tape, like, dude, I had a chance there. Why did I force that in there? I could have just taken 8 yards right there and been fine. So I like that he was going back, saw that on the tape, not just injury wise, let alone he was able to notice that. He was able to notice. That he had those opportunities.
I am done with this chat for the rest.
Dennis shook in the chat.
I can't look at this chat anymore.
Dennis shook in the chat. So I'd love to give Emilio a lookie.
I didn't know if I could put that.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
You're not allowed to put that up, Jacob. I am, though. If we get canceled, it's going to be my fault. Okay? That's how this works. So.
That's nice. Can I ask you guys a question quick?
Yeah, man. What's up?
So I don't know if you saw, but apparently the NFL. God dang it, Emilio. The NFL, I don't know if it's the front office, the PA, whatever you want to say, they announced, I believe, that they did some sort of study looking back at the last 5 to 10 years and decided that guys that play significant or meaningful time in preseason are 30 to 40% less likely to sustain injuries. Now, in that same vein, do you see maybe LaFleur got that info? I thought I saw that LaFleur said that he wanted to get all 4 quarterbacks meaningful playing time in the first preseason, at which point all of a sudden, as if it was like an en vogue kind of mass, media blitz, every single team that I've been seeing is like, we're going to get our guys some playing time. We're going to get them in the first and the second, the third preseason game. That being said, do you think that Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love are looking at the fact that, like Emilio just said, last year they were tentative. They didn't want him necessarily to test that injury, which I get, right? But going forward, whereas in years prior, I think they would have played patty cake, put the bubble wrap on him, say we just got to get him through preseason and let him go in the initial. Do you think they're saying, let's play him early, let's play him often, let's get him running, let's get his body used to taking some hits so that by the time that the real pads are strapped up, this guy he's a bit of a human meat missile, if you will.
I'll tell you this, listening to Mark Tauscher respond to that Matt LaFleur comment, or someone I think they may have asked him about it. Tauscher immediately cut Wildy off and said, well, I'd love to see that study. Why haven't we seen that study made public? Like he was so defensive right off the bat as a player, obviously. And one that who's the end of his career kind of came to a screeching halt with injuries. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. It to me, on one hand, it makes sense, right? Like, okay, you got to get your body ready. But I've got PTSD from Jordy Nelson tearing his ACL in the second quarter of the Pittsburgh game in that preseason. You remember that, Tim? So the study didn't work out there, did it, sir?
Well, and I think too, remember the telltale kind of thing that made everybody fall in love with Dan Campbell is when he basically cried on Hard Knocks. He's like, I'll do everything for you guys. You got to trust me. You got to put your body on the line right now. And then, spitting and drinking coffee. And then
was it Dan Campbell or Waylon Jennings?
It was Dan Campbell. But you look at now, where are the Lions at right now? Half their team's on IR. You know what I mean? Guys that have been on IR now for a year and a half plus. So is it a double-edged sword? I'm sure it is, but I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting subject. Did you see that, Emilio? I saw you kind of shaking your head along.
Yeah, no, I was listening to Matt. They were asking him. They kind of asked Matt for the numbers. They go, so what's the play amount? How many times? He goes, well, I'll get you the numbers if you need them. But he was like, I just remember seeing the information. I jotted it down. It came from the NFL, and we're going to move forward with that. And I always thought that he was going to play him just because. Why would you not want him to get into a rhythm? Matt said it too. We got a noon game, we've got a late afternoon game, and we got a night game. 3 games perfect to get him ready for any of the games we're probably going to see, unless it's a different day or something. But I think it's just the preparation, the practice. Obviously, Jordan's done it. The first team's done it. But just getting into the rhythm, you got a couple new guys. You might as well run a snap or two. If something happens, I'm going to feel terrible. But I think that the benefit outweighs the risk a little bit of getting some of that rust kicked off.
Mm-hmm. Jacob, you made a great point. And Tim, I want to get your take on it because that is what Dan Campbell's known for. And like Jacob pointed out, I mean, look at how many injuries they sustained, dude. And it's still happening. It's still happening to this day, right? I mean, didn't they have somebody go down the other day in the preseason game? Am I thinking right? But nonetheless, it's just you got those defensive tackles, like Jacob said, man. It's carrying over from last year too, and we don't know if Aiden Hutchinson's going to be the same. I assume he will because he's a freak, but I don't know. What's your take on that, Tim? How do you feel about that? Maybe would you rather them play it safe in preseason, or would you say, man, just turn them loose? You're muted, brother. Whoa.
The hell was that?
That was weird. Hold on a minute, Tim.
Tim, I don't know what's going on there.
Tim's spilling his guts over there. Tim, that was the strangest thing I've ever seen, man. You sounded like a chipmunk, bro. That was crazy. Try it now, Tim. Try it now. No.
My knee.
Tim, we're not laughing at you, buddy, but you would be rolling if you could hear the way you sound.
It kind of sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I was going to say Alvin and the Chipmunks. That's Alvin,
10,
Simon, and Theodore.
Like, even faster than that. I don't know how it's happening.
I just love this comment from Tool for this. He says, Dan Campbell probably hits 20 in blackjack. Yeah, probably does. I'll stay.
Let's try it again, Tim, one more time, man.
All right. Do I still sound like an animated character?
There you go.
Now, man.
Okay. All right. So the truth lies somewhere in the middle, I think, for me.
FBI listening in. So you think it's right in the middle somewhere, right, Tim?
Yeah, you don't want guys to sit and collect dust, right? You know, and if you try to be overprotective, it can have, you know, devastating effects down the road when your guy steps on the field. We saw, what was that, a couple years ago in the Super Bowl, we saw a guy blow his whole leg out just running onto the field.
Was that Fred Warner? Wasn't it Fred Warner? Or,
I thought it was Willis. Was it Patrick Willis?
No. It was not Campbell. What was his name? Devondre Campbell replaced him. Green.
That's right.
And you got to think, like, you're grinding through a season. It's like, if you know what did his preseason load look like? You know, how long did it take for him to get his wheels turning? You're in the last game of the year and you run out on the field and it's over with. So I'm somewhere in the middle. I'd like to see the ones get some reps together early and then get them off the field, and then you continue to build going forward. And by that final game against Seattle, as we round out figuring out who this 53 is going to be, I think you probably want to see the most you've seen from your ones in a preseason game by that point of the year, going into week one. So I'm kind of in the middle. You want to protect your guys, but we got to remember we got a lot of changes there on that O-line. So we want to get that chemistry going with Big E and Jordan. Get the snaps down, those kind of things, and get Jordan used to these new receivers that he has to go out there and play with against live game speed. So I'm somewhere in the middle, man. I think the guy should play a little bit for sure.
I think that's a pretty fair way of looking at it. 'Cause I don't think they should go out there and play a whole half, but I think there is something to be said for getting guys into the routine and do it all 3 weeks. They may not play, but make them dress. And people may think, oh, that's silly. Why does that matter? It matters. If they don't know if they're going to play or not, and they have to prepare to play, then they have to get into that routine every
the mind state.
Matt made that comment, right? He said we want everyone prepared to play every game.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Emilio. What were you saying, man?
I was just saying, no, even the mindset of just prepping, like you and Tim were both saying, just getting into the idea of, hey, we're playing a real NFL game right now. Obviously, it's preseason, but it's still NFL. We're still strapping up, still wearing the G, all that.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, I'll tell you guys just real quick. I'm in like way too many fantasy football leagues, and I'm in one that's a slow draft. So if you're a dynasty league or an empire league, you keep your players from years prior, blah, blah, blah. Somebody was on the clock that had been on because a slow draft, you do 24 hours to draft. The guy was about to pick someone else, and then after Anthony Richardson went down, the guy just drafted Daniel Jones, and that just tells you how cutthroat and lethal just fantasy football is, and how the game of football is. It's a cutthroat business here, guys.
Yeah, if anybody sees any updates on Anthony Richardson, it's early too, and it looks like a shoulder injury, so they probably won't have it. It's not like somebody tears an ACL, the doctors wiggle the knee and go, yeah, that's an ACL.
Yeah. You can tell too, man. You literally can just go top and bottom of that thing, and it is just disconnected.
Yeah.
No. Real quick, Dennis Shook asked what an Empire League was. It's super cool. You get a longer bench. You draft guys. You keep them every single year. And then you only have a 4-round draft for rookies and free agents. And you have to win at least 2 times in a row, usually for an Empire League, 2 years in a row to win the whole pot. And every year that you don't win, more money gets put into the side pot. It's pretty cool.
Heard it from a fan right here.
Not that kind of pot, you knuckleheads.
Yeah.
Overview of training camp practice. Try to get back on track here. We're running out of time. I told the guys we'll do a 40-minute episode tonight.
Yeah, sorry, Mandy.
Yeah. So the Green Bay Packers held their 12th practice, blah, 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 right, which was scaled back after a long Wednesday session. Players wore shells instead of full pads. Somebody zapped that bot for me.
Got him.
Starters are expected to play at least a little in Saturday's preseason game against the New York Jets, but all-pro safety Xavier McKinney will not due to a calf injury. So, again, I would be surprised if Jordan Love goes out there and plays a series, although it sounded like Matt was trying to give that impression. I just wonder if it's kind of what we were talking about, that he wants the guys to be ready. We'll see what happens, though. I'm not opposed to them playing a series for sure. McKinney described the injury as lingering, but said he'd be ready for week 1, emphasizing a cautious recovery plan. Now, Packer lineup notes, offensive line with Jenkins and Walker out. So keep in mind, you're missing your starting left tackle and your starting center. This is how the offensive line lined up. Left tackle Jordan Morgan, left guard Aaron Banks, center Jacob Monk, right guard Sean Ryan, right tackle Zach Tom. Banks was pulled for Donovan Jennings after a false start. So Donovan Jennings seems to be next in line to play guard if you're down a body, okay, at the guard position, if that makes sense. And we are down a body at guard because Jordan Morgan had to play left tackle in Rasheed Walker's place. Coach LaFleur on Morgan at left tackle. Some good plays, but needs improvement, valuable exposure as a young player. Talking about Jordan Morgan. Okay, got it. Cornerbacks, Hobbs out, Keyshawn Nixon resting. So the number 1, so keep in mind, Keyshawn Nixon was resting. And that did not get mentioned earlier on the radio. I was listening, and they were saying, man, here's your number 1s. Carrington Valentine and Bo Melton. I went, holy cow, did Bo Melton skyrocket to the top of the depth chart here? They conveniently didn't mention that Keyshawn Nixon was resting, and that's a big role. Plays a big role there. So with Hobbs out and Keyshawn out, it was Carrington Valentine and Bo Melton. Melton viewed it as an opportunity to prove himself against a talented offense. Safeties, McKinney was out, so the number 1s were Evan Williams and Javon Bullard. There you go. Okay, so Javon Bullard stepping in as safety number 3. So he's definitely kind of in place of whichever safety is going to get pulled there. If somebody breaks a shoelace or something. It also says in nickel, Zane Anderson at safety with Bullard in the slot. So it sounds like the depth chart right now at safety is Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, Javon Bullard, Zane Anderson. Is that how you guys are seeing that too? But I think Katano Ladapo's out though, right? So we don't get a true gauge of that, do we? So
I think that is right, because we want to get Bull down there in the nickel, and we still need a safety out there. Zane is going to be our man for now, but I do hope Home Depot can get out there and do his thing.
Do you guys see a world where, with an injury situation or whatever the case may be, that you could slip Catan on the practice squad, or possibly a Zane Anderson, and then get a guy like Omar Brown on the squad? Like,
I'm personally not buying into the Omar Brown hype. That's just me. I could be wrong. But the thing that worries me about that, Jake.
Get him, Tim. Get him.
We had Katano Ladapo as the 3rd best safety in the draft.
Yes, we did.
Right. And it's obvious the Packers thought pretty highly of him too. Right. So there's probably another team, if they're light at safety, right, what they're going to do is go back to their draft board, go back to their draft analysis and go, okay, what other safeties were we high on in the draft for any of those guys available? Oh, look, Oladapo's on a practice squad. Now, I say that because Omar Brown on our board, and I'm not saying it's more important than anything else, but Omar Brown on our board is way down the list, right? I want to say what we might have said 299. I'm trying to think here, but he was way further down. Yeah, way down the list, like 3/4 of the way down the list here in terms of safeties. So I'm not saying Omar Brown can't go on to be a great player in the NFL, but if you're asking me, Jacob, and I may have misunderstood your question, if you're asking me would I keep Omar Brown over Oladapo, absolutely not.
No, that's not what I meant. I just meant if injuries happen and you do think that you could slip a guy, like if Kitan is hurt or if Zane is hurt, do you think that you could sneak them out of the practice squad without them getting snatched?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah. Both of them, even Zane.
Zane, you got a better shot, I believe.
Yeah.
Zane would be the one I would. I don't know though, man. Omar
I could
Brown
see
was
a team wanting to pick him up though.
You see, he's got a PFF grade in the 80s. You know what I mean? People like the first thing they do is Google his name. Oh, he's got an 80 PFF grade. Okay.
Yeah, but think about it. Zane Anderson was on a roster before Omar Brown. Omar Brown was available, and there weren't teams going, "Hey, let's put him on our 53." So that's going to come into factor too, I'm sure.
And Omar Brown was a UDFA, right?
No, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I was thinking of Kamal Haddon. I think it was Kamal Haddon. That was a second-round pick by Kansas City. So.
Yep.
All right. Next, linebackers. Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper as every down starters. Let's go. Battle for the third spot between Isaiah McDuffie and Isaiah Simmons. That's two guys to watch Saturday night. Isaiah McDuffie and Isaiah Simmons. That's going to be fun to see them on the field playing in preseason. In the nickel, it was Cooper and Walker first, then Cooper and McDuffie, then Simmons and McDuffie. So it seems like McDuffie is above Simmons on the depth chart right now. Am I reading that wrong, guys? Because I know there's a couple of days where Simmons was it felt like he was over top of him. Tim, you're there, boots on the ground. Yeah. If you had to guess, and again, nobody's going to hold your feet to the fire, would you say Isaiah Simmons or Isaiah McDuffie is the number 3 linebacker?
Number 3 right now, I'd say McDuffie.
Okay.
With Simmons breathing down his neck for that, competing for that spot. And this is what we talked about. This is the type of competition you want in a camp. It's going to make your room better. But yeah, I would agree that Zay McDuffie's got a little bit of an edge over Isaiah Simmons right now. That's why, to your point, let's keep an eye on this Jets game here on Saturday, see what these guys look like out there. I think there's a strong chance that both of these guys make this football team for sure. The question is who's where on the depth chart. And I think if it was today, I think it's Zay McDuffie right now. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I can see that. Dennis Shook says Simmons has been a pleasant surprise. He really has, man.
Yes.
When we signed him, when the Packers signed Isaiah Simmons, the Packer fan base went crazy. And I don't know if you remember, Emilio, I was kind of like, come on, guys. There's a reason he's available and he's making such little money, right? Mm-hmm. But boy, oh boy, did he not flash in camp early.
First round, 8th pick for a reason, right? He had the talent, had the skills, everything, but it just hasn't worked out what they've asked him to do in other places. Is this another, time where the Packers found out the right spot for him and just let him do his thing? Possibility. But Tim, to your point, I love that they're both pushing each other. Both Isaiahs are, hey, I want that spot. Hey, I want that spot. We're just going to compete until the coaches decide who wins, right? We're just going to give it our all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Chase Green in the chat says Simmons was signed to tackle Barkley and Gibbs. There you go, man. There you go. To over this makes a good point. He says Kenny supposedly said the starters were basically told they were playing. Matt was probably fuming about that. I bet he wasn't happy about that for sure. But again, I think that's the plan, man. Everybody's prepared to start. You're going to see them suited up on the sideline, whether they go in or not, right? So, tell you what I'd like to see. March that number 1 offense out there, whoever's healthy. Let Jordan Love drop back. Hit Matthew Golden for about a 65-yard tutter and get them all off the damn field. That would be absolutely awesome.
Go. Yeah. Let's go. Flea flicker on the first play. Let's go.
Yeah. Here's a great quote. This was Bill Huber's quote of the day. Josh Jacobs on needing preseason carries. Quote, I feel like it depends on what situation you're really in. If you've been in the system, if you're a new guy coming in, trying to make the team, all those kinds of things kind of play a factor into playing in the preseason. But for me, knowing this offense going into year 2, just really feel like I'm hitting my stride. I don't know if I'm too much worried about it. Obviously, I do need to get tackled a couple times to see if I'm ready for it. But, yeah, I think that's about it. So he's kind of – sounds like you, Tim, right? Like kind of, right in the middle of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
In between, so. I
agree. I think it's a good look. I mean, you have to watch load management with a guy like Josh Jacobs. Let's be real. He's going to get a lot of carries. He's a battering ram on that field. So, yeah, that's definitely a guy you want to keep an eye on as far as the reps.
Yeah.
Same thing at the club. Load management. Can't be playing too much, baby. Strategic.
300 reps a season, Jacob. I'm sure Jacobs will be getting 300 carries at least.
We're talking about We're talking about confetti. Unbelievable. Matt Schneidman. LaFleur said he'll do his best to give all 4 quarterbacks meaningful reps. Tim had to cut his damn Saturday's preseason opener against the Jets. So, again, he could be BSing here, right? Why's your face red, Emilio? What's wrong with you, man?
No.
LaFleur said he'll do his best to give all 4 quarterback meaningful reps. I'd like to take his word for it, but I don't know, man. I would be surprised if meaningful. What's meaningful reps for Jordan Love? You know what I mean? Does that mean he's going to go out there and
drive this game, a quarter next game, and then we'll go from there in the third game.
I agree.
So
I would expect to see more than a series from them in the first game, right?
Ooh.
1 or 2 series, maybe.
That's what that sounds like to me right there, Tim. Maybe I'm reading it wrong.
Yeah.
So.
I think it depends on how the series goes. If they go out and just have like 2-3 plays, they look sharp. Sales one, some floater, go route to Reed. I think Matt's like, all right, that's good. That's enough I need to see right there.
Yeah, I wonder how much running the football we would do in a series or 2 with our ones out there, right? Clearly, he's going to want to see Jay Money throwing dimes to Matthew Golden and the fellas, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, Jake Cole says 2 drives. All right. So there's only 3 more open practices left at Ray Nitschke Field. Next week, practice at 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday. Joint practice in Indianapolis Thursday before the preseason game versus the Colts. And then the following week, regular practice Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Joint practice versus the Seahawks Thursday at 10:30 a.m. I'm just as excited about those joint practices than I am the preseason games, to be honest with you. That's the more important work there. And I believe you guys, are y'all going to the Colts game? Am I thinking right, fellas? Is that the plan?
We're going to the Seattle game.
Seattle game. That's right. Because that's actually in Indianapolis. And I thought about going up to the Colts game, catch a flight up to Indy and just sit through it and then get back the next day. But I don't know. I'd rather be here watching it and doing post-game shows. So, but that's going to be cool. You guys at the Seattle game, we'll get y'all to chime in afterwards and see what you think.
Got the hotel booked today, Tim.
Nice. Really?
Yeah, although I am a little upset because after we
didn't-
paid money, they told me the check-in is 3 p.m.
Ugh.
What the hell is that?
Well, you have to get early check-in then, brother. I don't know.
You got to call them up, Jacob. You got to get rid of that do-rag, comb your hair, and you know what I mean? Get in there
and pray they don't run a background check. And
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Jacob, he said you got to pray they don't run a background check.
No, dude, if anything, they do the background check. They'd be like, this is royalty. Let's put them. They got Oval Office president here. Upgrade me to a suite, baby.
They're going to say, sir, do you have your ID? And he's going to throw his Oval Office card down. You can keep that. All right, that's it. We're done. This show has sucked so bad. And how in the world there's almost 300 people watching is beyond me. But I really do appreciate everybody tuning in. This was a lot of fun. Dennis Shook. No, I seen your comment, Dennis. It cracked me up, dude. Pull up Dennis's comment there. Where's it at? Right here, look. Clayton reading like the kid in the back of the classroom that causes the teacher to grade on a curve. that is 100% factual right there. So, now we appreciate you. It's good to see you back in here, Dennis, for sure, man. You take it off the rails in the chat, and we got to be careful what we put on the screen, but we appreciate it. All right, last thing. We're over. I just want to show these real quick because Tim crushed these today. Tim, I'm going to give you the floor here. Maybe get a couple of your vids that you had. Tell us what we're watching here, man. We'll crank it up a little bit while you're talking here.
Baron Sorrell here, getting some work in with Aaron Mosby and Brenton Cox Jr. here. That's with Coach Covington. And then, of course, you see Bane Gary just staring them down and owning every second of what's going on that field at all time.
Seriously, dude. He's like another coach, isn't he?
Man, and just the way he carries himself out there, and you can see it. It has an effect on these younger guys. I've seen it more than once. Baron Sorrell kind of going to Rashawn for some guidance and some tips, and Rashawn is fully engaged, laser focused at all times, and everybody else in that room is too. So it's just kind of quick little clip here, seeing these guys get some work in.
I think I'm the only one that feels this way, but I've said since Baron Sorrell got to Green Bay, I feel like he's playing lighter than he did at Texas. Emilio, do you? And I think you disagreed with me when I brought that up, Emilio.
I thought he was a little bit thicker, but I like that they're working on this edge drill. Looks like they're head up on a tight end, and then you have the tackle coming over to press them, and we're working on splitting that. Because you're obviously worried about contain, but you can't get double team. Let's try to fight through. Mosby did a good job there, kind of get a little skinny, get in between. But no, I think Barron's he's a little bigger. But I love that we have that kind of size on the edge. You know, you lose Preston, let's still bring in some beef out there.
Yeah, definitely. And then we got another just 2 more videos and we'll get out of here. This is another one. Tim, talk to us what we got here, man.
Oh, this is really quick. Turn the sound up for this one. You'll like this one.
Got it right there in the middle.
Yeah. So as you can see, Rashawn almost took out Coach Covington there.
I noticed that. But
look at this.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. Coach Covington is he not swagged out every practice? You just look at him, it's like, man, he's like one of the boys. You know what I mean? Like you could tell the guys respect him so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And he gets the most out of these players. Ball King here in the front too. You know, Coach Davis is another one. Coach Ogabasi brings the intensity. This group really, really works well together. And I think that's why we have that different vibe this year down on this end of the field during camp.
Yeah. I love that LBN was opposite of Rashawn there, just both getting after it, getting to the quarterback as quick as possible.
Yeah. Yep. And then last one here, this is actually from Matt Schneidman. He tweeted this out. Bo Melton has looked like an NFL cornerback in camp after switching from wide receiver. He'll play the position in the game for the first time on Saturday. Quote, I'm hyped now, not going to lie. It's just a quick little clip of him talking.
I'm hyped now. I ain't lie. I'm ready to see, go get somebody else. We're going against the same people every week. So I'm just excited to go out there and compete with somebody else. I'm hyped now.
It's awesome. And I'm sure you guys seen everybody talking about it in the chat earlier that Bo Melton's brother Max had quote tweeted a clip of him picking that pass off in practice yesterday. And He was so fired up for his brother, man. It was just really cool. So I'm rooting for Bo, man. Rooting for Bo for sure. So all right, that's it. Appreciate everybody, man. The chat was on fire. Listen, I got to give a special shout out and thanks to Boz for the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Hardy the Prophet with a couple supers. Thank you, Hardy. Good to see you, bub. Dan Mullen with a couple super chats here. Appreciate you, sir. United Bates with the $5 dono super, and then Bernie with the 20 spot. You guys are way too kind. Thank you all so much for your generosity. And we'll be back tomorrow for I'll probably do a live stream randomly throughout the day. I got to see whenever I get a break. I'll probably do like a 15-minute live stream on a topic. I'm going to do a little deep dive into some of the articles that was written this week. And then we'll go live tomorrow night. That's the plan, 6:30 p.m. Central Time for PTA Live. And then, of course, Saturday pregame show. So we got – what time's the kickoff on Saturday again, guys?
8, right?
8 our time, 7 their
8
time.
Eastern,
Right?
7 Central, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll probably go live at 6 p.m. Central, okay? And we'll give you guys an hour pregame show, and then we'll hit a postgame show afterwards as well. It'd be a lot of fun, man. So absolutely awesome, man, that we made it this football season, no doubt. Dan Mullen again here with the super chat, or is this earlier?
Oh, that was earlier.
Okay. Got it. All right. It popped down on the bottom, so. Yeah, and Bee's Knees, Jacob said, I'm here to give basketball updates. So there you go. Appreciate you, Jacob. You're an amazing person. So, all right, that's it, guys. Y'all have a wonderful evening. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack.
Here we go.
Nice.
Bye, guys.